your guest has come over there. Would you kindly come forward to sit closer to us? When did you arrive? Just now?
Yes.
Please come and sit here.
Thank you very much.
Where do you find him? The lady who came with you.
She is resting.
He's resting.
Maybe if we get lost.
Please.
In the verse 50, it is said that فَلَمَّا اعْتَزَلَهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ وَكُلٌّ جَعَلْنَا نَبِيًّا. Here, the Ismail alayhi salam was the first son.
But that line is not mentioned here. Ishaq wa Yaqub. They are the two prophets mentioned. One is father and other is the son. So because that particular line is mentioned, the brother has no place here. He would be out of context. The Holy Quran goes for the economy of words and sentences. When the Holy Quran chooses a particular subject with particular intention, it does not waste time or space for things which are irrelevant in that context. So the holy prophets and their lines are mentioned variously in various places according to the situation. For instance, when Hazrat Ismail and Hazrat Ibrahim are mentioned during the rebuilding of Kaaba, there is no mention of Hazrat Ishaq at all. So would you say that he didn't exist?
After 4 verses, there it is a mention of Hazrat Ismail.
But then because the subject changes from there, the second line begins. If you had written this book, Nauzubillah min Zalik, would you mention all of them together? Without any regard to the subject matter and the propriety?
So I was thinking that this Ismail alayhi salam was the first son.
That is not the question at all. Every time must you stick to the chronology? Chronology is not always important. It is not a Mirasi who is declaring who came after him and who came after him. It is the holy book. It is the word of Allah. So Allah pays more attention to the subject matter than just mere chronology. And Allah is not bound, because the Holy Quran clearly lays down who was first. After that, it's not important that every time one is mentioned, the other should have been mentioned before him. If you conceive this plan of things, you will not find it in the Holy Quran, because it's not befitting of Allah to stick unnecessarily to the chronology. The only objection could be if you could, some non-Muslim could raise this, could point out that as if the Holy Quran does not know who was the first and who was the second. That if that objection could be raised, that would be valid. We are bound to answer that. But if the Holy Quran has laid it down very clearly, unambiguously, that Ismail was the first and Ishaq was the second. After that, every time they are mentioned, why must they be mentioned in the same order?
No.
That is what I can't see.
Yes, I wanted to know for my knowledge that
this is what I am telling you for your knowledge. Yes, please. Understand the philosophy. Whenever a repeated mention is made, chronology is not necessary. The subject matter becomes more important. So it's not only at this place. At many other places, chronology is completely ignored and prophets are mentioned in groups. And for some interpreters, it is very difficult to see why these groups are mentioned. Because apparently they see no resemblance between these various prophets which are mentioned together out of all regard to chronology. So this is the style of the Holy Quran. You should, if you want to understand, you should first learn the style and plan of things, then concentrate upon finding out the reason why this particular style has been adopted in this particular context. But this is no place for giving full lectures on the exposition of the Holy Quran, because these verses should be treated independently in full sermons or in an address of, say, lasting about an hour or so. Otherwise, it will not be doing justice to this. This is why I have been repeatedly telling you that questions pertaining to Tafsir-e-Quran as such should not be asked. Only some occasional problem which bothers someone can be asked, for which the short answer can suffice. But to expect me to start exposition of the Holy Quran at random, while I have not the Holy Quran before me, and turn this majlis, which is question answer session, into a different majlis altogether, this is not the correct approach. For instance, I should love to answer questions about the Holy Quran if some Orientalist, some non-Muslim, has raised objection against a particular verse or against the life of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inferring wrongly from the Holy Quran and things. These are valid questions for such sessions. But to quote passages and expect me to start expounding on those passages, for that this is not the right forum.
Thank you very much.
In Quranic Kareem, Allah Ta'ala says, La tukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. La tukallifu Allahu.
But Quran doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say that. La yukallifu Allahu.
Sorry.
Please, I repeat this. Try your best to be very careful when you recite the Holy Quran. It is the word of Allah. You should pay proper respect to it. You should be prepared. If you don't remember, don't say it. Just mention that something is said of this nature and find out. Whenever I don't remember a verse, of course, sometimes even the half of the Quran don't remember the verse. I always try to take the safest course. I ask the audience, if they remember it, they should quote the verse as it is mentioned in the Holy Quran. But to take leisure with the Holy Quran and go on changing the verses, this is not permissible at all.
Quranic Kareem says this, La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. And later God teaches us the prayer, Rabbana la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana. Is there any contradiction between this, the capacity and strength?
There is no contradiction. If that is the question, there is no contradiction. You know there is no contradiction in the Holy Quran. But tell me what you want to find out.
I want to find out.
You should have said, apparently there is a contradiction. So kindly explain. That's what you want. On this I have already spoken at length in one of my sermons in Rabwa about a year and a half ago, that these two verses are not in contradiction to each other. They speak of different things and they make that subject very clear. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha ma kasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina wa akhtana Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih. This is not only this was explained in Rabwa, but also a full sermon on this was devoted in Karachi before my departure,